Help me understand why you're still taking in Tiffany Henyard type money.
There's a law on the books that we cannot change anybody's salary.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. This is what a lot of residents of Thornton Township are saying after Tiffany Henyard, the super mayor, the absolute gem of our lifetimes in terms of a political story, was ousted for a guy called Napoleon Harris, who already at the very beginning of his term at the head of the Thornton Township Board of Supervisors has pulled off incredibly sketchy maneuvers in order to maintain the absurd salary that the super mayor was getting from that Thornton Township position.
Shame on y'all.
Now, as of right now, Mayor House, who replaced the super mayor as the mayor of the village of Dalton, appears to be doing a decent job cleaning up her mess. But unfortunately, in the Thornton Township, the story is quite different, and we have yet another double-dipping politician making well over six figures, despite the fact that he was not supposed to earn anywhere near that amount of money. Now, we are going to break this down, but before we do, I have an incredible announcement for you. On Saturday, August 9th of this year in Lake Jackson, Texas, there is going to be an event to commemorate the man, the myth, the legend, and of course, that is in fact Ron Paul. He is turning 90 years old, and they decided to celebrate with one of the legendary Ron Paul barbecues, and I'm here to tell you that you need to go to the link in the description to get your tickets to this event. Now, of course, this event is going to be loaded with a bunch of guest speakers. You're going to have director Tulsi Gabbard, Brendan Herrera, you're going to have Tom Woods, so many more, and there will also be music from special guests like Jimmy Vaughn. Again, 90 is a big one, and if you've ever been inspired by Ron Paul, his message, been embedded in the revolution, this is the event you definitely want to go to. Also, I'm gonna be there, so come out and see me at this event. So what you need to do right now, this very moment, is go to my link in the description of this video and pinned to the top comment of this video and get your tickets right now. I don't give a damn what you gotta do. Clear your schedule and definitely make it out because, I mean, come on, it's Ron Paul, a bunch of cool people, and Texas barbecue. You really can't beat that. Now, of course, tickets are gonna be selling fast. This is a major event, so you wanna get on board immediately, and if you could use actual Justice Warrior in the referral thing, I would greatly appreciate that. Again, that is Saturday, August 9th, Lake Jackson, Texas. Link in the description. Get your tickets before they sell out. Ron Paul Barbecue, that's where it's at, and I expect you to be there.
The man who replaced Tiffany Henyard as Thornton Township supervisor has ditched the drama and much of the scrutiny.
I thought maybe we have gotten rid of the storm.
Jennifer and Paul Roberts are skeptical of Harris's leadership.
A lot of people in Thornton Township fought for transparency, accountability, and responsiveness in government, and we haven't really seen that yet.
Some of that skepticism centers on his salary.
So as you can see right here, the residents of the Thornton Township are very skeptical of the new head of the Thornton Township Board of Supervisors, and of course, this is one of the two positions that was previously held by the super mayor. Now, we all know that she was the mayor of the village of Dalton, and at that position, she earned about $50,000 some odd dollars in terms of salary, even though it was a part-time position, but one of the things that was absolutely shocking is that she earned $225,000 as the head of the Thornton Township, and the reason she was able to earn this much money is because initially she took over for another person who was in that office who was elected about 10 times, so every time that person was elected, he ended up building up a higher salary for that position. Now, the super mayor comes in, and she was supposed to, after finishing her appointed term, go back down to the reduced salary of around $50,000. However, she and the Board of Supervisors ended up changing up the rules in such a way so that she could maintain the previous person who had earned, through being elected multiple times, that particularly high salary. Now, of course, this was supposed to reset, and in fact, one of the controversies of the super mayor's administration in the Thornton Township Board of Supervisors is that not only did she want to set it to reset back to that $50,000 number where it was supposed to be for a first term elected, but essentially she put in a poison pill that said that the salary was going to reset to $25,000 unless the incumbent, being her, maintained that position. Now, of course, the actual Thornton Township representatives, after Tiffany Henyard was booted off the ballot, they ended up passing a resolution to restore the salary to where it initially should be, which is about $50,000. But of course, this guy, the new guy in office, the person who's supposed to clean up Thornton Township, is still pulling in Tiffany Henyard numbers, and he cites some weird Illinois law as the reason why, as if there was nothing he could do about it. And this is where the story gets really interesting and incredibly sketchy.
How that law came to be is a lesson in political maneuvering. Tiffany Henyard made $202,000 a year, plus other perks. As a first-term supervisor, the salary ordinance said Harris was to make $57,000 plus expenses.
Don't have insurance because you two did not come and take care of your business.
As Henyard's grip on power weakened following a series of WGN Investigates reports on her spending, a lawmaker in Springfield proposed a bill to restore the higher salary structure. His name? State Senator Napoleon Harris. Even before he was elected supervisor, he was laying the groundwork to protect the perk. One problem, his bill died. It did not pass.
So the local news affiliate gives you a pretty good breakdown of what went down up until this point and how this guy was essentially conspiring to make sure that he maintains this higher salary because he was running against the super mayor and he was very much likely to beat her due to the fact that there was overwhelming controversy around her. But if you're a bit confused, if you're a bit wondering how he can still maintain the salary when the bill that he proposed in his other position as a state representative ended up failing in the state house, don't worry, all will be explained to you because this guy decided to do a super mayor-esque, incredibly sketchy maneuver in order to make sure that he could maintain said salary.
And is it a state law? Help me understand which law are you talking about?
It is a state law.
Because I looked up that state law and it said it didn't pass.
You cannot change a salary during the term of your term.
But that's the state law you proposed last year.
No, that's not what I proposed.
What did you propose?
That state law has been on the books. I didn't propose anything.
So let's just point out that Napoleon Harris looks incredibly sketchy. He's definitely a shifty-eyed individual. And also, I want to highlight the fact that earlier on in this local news segment, when this reporter, who is not a large guy, ended up coming up to him, he had multiple security guards to protect him, despite the fact that he is a former NFL player.
The guy's a former NFL player. It doesn't take two security guards. Give me a break, man.
But again, the corruption is basically omnipresent in the state of Illinois, which of course has the most amount of state representatives that have ever gone to jail for corruption compared to any other state. And this is a perfect example of the everyday corruption in American politics, but especially in Illinois politics, and how that works to screw over the taxpayer.
Not quite. Here's the language in Harris's bill, and here's the language in the one that later advanced and passed by a different legislator. It's identical. And did we mention it was buried on page 90 of a bill that began by focusing on Crohn's and colitis disease?
Yeah, that's right. So this guy got another state senator, another person in the legislative body, to propose the exact same language as an amendment to a bill meant to set aside a week to commemorate one of these diseases. And this is how he advanced this particular ordinance in order to block his own salary from reducing. And apparently this is common parlance in the state of Illinois.
The original bill was to have a week devoted to highlighting the needs of Crohn's patients and their families. And it became what's known as a shell bill in Springfield that really becomes a vehicle for any legislative initiative to be shoved into it. The original intent is gutted.
There you have somebody who is familiar with these types of bills in the state of Illinois saying exactly that. And none of us should be surprised that these kind of shenanigans end up going on because we see this at the federal level all the time. Again, the big beautiful bill, which may have some good things in it, is also loaded up with a bunch of different terrible provisions. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of fiscal conservatives and a lot of people concerned about Trump's legacy and agenda were definitely very skeptical of said bill because, of course, it has things just like this. And, of course, the trick that they use, the manipulation that they use, is the same that they use anywhere. In this particular case, it's going to be, oh, well, you're against setting aside a week to recognize this disease, these two diseases, you absolute scumbag. And I will just remind you that one of the super mayor's controversies with Thornton Township is the fact that she ended up with the other supervisors appropriating $10,000 of taxpayer money to the Tiffany Henyard Foundation, which of course hid behind the disease of cancer. So this guy is starting to pull the same exact moves. In fact, he had been plotting and going in this direction since last year when he figured he was the most likely person to hold this position. So now yet again, we have another person in Thornton Township that is basically working to profit himself, not on behalf of the people.
But everything we do for the people. But we under attack. We getting scrutinized in the media. For what? Loving on the people? Showing them that they matter to us? We going through the fires for y'all. We. Us, me and my administration.
And he's doing so by combining and commingling both of his government offices because, yes, he is still a state senator as well as a Thornton Township Board of Supervisors. So again, we have another person making six-figure income who, of course, works two part-time positions, and that is patently absurd and ridiculous. But again, it's basically just what you would expect from Illinois politics.
Thanks to the legislative maneuver, Harris is now on track to collect a $202,000 salary from the township, plus $54,000 in expenses. Add in his $123,000 state Senate salary, and it brings his total take from two elected positions to just under $380,000.
Is that not disgusting? Is that not absolutely horrible? And I will also remind you guys out there in the audience that Jason House, the guy who replaced the super mayor in the village of Dalton, who is tasked with cleaning house in that particular village, is not doing similar things as of right now as the super mayor. But this guy, this absolute scumbag state senator, has basically set himself up in terms of salary for him to profit significantly more, specifically when we're talking about salary, than the super mayor ever did. So again, corruption is here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say false allegations and not facts.
Off of hearsay. False allegations and not facts.
But the truth is, he did do this. This is the reality, and it does not look good for the residents of Thornton Township that this guy basically took power allegedly to fight against corruption, and he's already engaging in that. And again, the super mayor expensed so much luxury travel, so many ridiculous things, financed her own nonprofit that, of course, was not actually a legitimate nonprofit, and all these other scandals that we covered before. And of course, she hid behind the idea that everything she does is for the people.
But everything we do for the people.
And this absolute scumbag, state senator and Thornton Township supervisor Napoleon Harris, appears to be doing the exact same thing.
This is the professional Democratic machine, tried and tested, and it appears that they have taken hold of Thornton Township.
And look, at least the people that are engaged in this meeting get it. They understand it. They know the source of the problem. It is, in fact, the Democratic Party, the Democratic machine, the Chicago machine politics, which, of course, is notorious among the worst Democratic parties in all of the country. But yeah, this is what you can expect when you don't examine who's going to replace the thug criminal super mayor after she ends up leaving office. And again, this guy is gonna get away with it for the time being. However, we can put a lot of pressure on him, we can call him out, we can highlight him, and make sure that he does not escape scrutiny, and honestly should face the same scrutiny as the super mayor before him, even though, again, he's nowhere near as entertaining.
Given what these residents have been through and what you campaigned on, don't give me the time, man, come on. Given what these residents have been through, do you think it's a good look for you to do some of the same stuff that you were critical of?
I was not critical of anything, man.
You weren't critical of Tiffany Henyard's reign?
I've never publicly despised anybody. Publicly.
This is absolutely crazy. The guy's asking him questions right here, and his security personnel, again, are trying to bully him. They're trying to say time's up and whatnot, and give credit to this reporter, who obviously is the shortest person in this exchange, for looking this man directly in the face and said, no, don't tell me about time. Don't give me that nonsense. We're asking these questions right here, and the answer of Napoleon Harris, absolutely terrible, absolutely horrendous. He says, look, I wasn't critical of anything. I mean, they took office they used a scheme against the super mayor in order to boot her off the ballot in Thornton Township, which, by the way, I actually highlighted at the time as a sketchy maneuver and something to be concerned about, all based on her corruption scandal, all based on her reign being so chaotic. And now this guy's pretending super mayor who? What are you even talking about? We're not even going to discuss that. I wasn't critical of anyone. I would never go after my political opponent for doing things in order to maintain elected office. That's ridiculous. How can you assert that? How can you make those allegations?
False allegations and not facts.
I mean, come on, bro. Shut up. Shut your stupid face.
What I've done was, and I've stated this, I'm about doing the right thing and supporting what the people needs of Thornton Township, and I've done that. For you to say and sit here and suggest that anything has been improper or done wrong is not a fair assessment of what's happening.
No, it absolutely is a fair assessment of what you've done. Again, the exact same language that you proposed when you knew you were going to get into this position ends up in another bill to commemorate a disease, something that was supposed to be symbolic, buried on page 90, and this is the justification you used to pull down nearly $400,000 in salary plus expenses for 2 part-time government positions. Absolutely disgusting, absolutely ridiculous. The ghetto mindset absolutely has taken over this section of Illinois, and I feel terrible for all the residents of Thornton Township who just wanted to get rid of the super mayor and then ended up with this super scumbag. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you think down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show me by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about madness in the Thornton Township. Till next time.